Chapter 25. Unlocking a new scenario. Sitting on the wooden table were several used cotton swabs, a bottle of mineral water, and an unopened bun. The young officer sitting across the table put down his recorder and took out his phone to show Chen Gay a picture on it. "Is he the man you saw?" Chen Gay took a look at the picture of several men walking out of a building together. The tallest among them had a tattoo of a peony on the back of his hand. "Yes, that's him. Peony represents wealth in Chinese culture and is a common tattoo among gamblers. This man's name is Zhang Peng. He's a gambler who is currently running from a debt of several 100,000 RMB. He's involved in crimes like robbery and mugging." The officer continued flipping through the pictures. "Now, take a look at this." This time, it was a picture that looked like it was taken from a traffic camera. After multiple zoom-ins, Chen Gay finally got a clear view of the driver. Sitting in the driver's seat was a frantic-looking fat man. He looked around 90% similar to the fat man Chen Gay saw in the apartment. "Looks familiar. With your description, we matched it to our traffic records database. The name of the driver in the picture is Feng Chunlei, an out-of-city man. He was responsible for a hit-and-run and driving under influence." The young officer put aside his phone and rearranged the information laid before him. "I believe I've taken all the information I need from you, Mr. Chen, but temporarily you cannot leave. In a minute, the people from the main city's investigation team will need to get a more thorough statement from you. Hopefully you'll be willing to cooperate with the investigation. After all, you're our only witness." "Of course." Chen Gay leaned down in bed, and his emotions began to calm down. Several hours ago, Western Zhujiang City's police station had received a call saying there was a murder going on at Pingan Apartments. The police mobilized immediately. They ran into Chen Gay on their way to Pingan Apartments. After some initial questions, the police separated into two teams. One went to follow Chen Gay back to the wooden house to detain Wang Qi, and the other went into the forest to capture Pingan Apartments' tenants. When Chen Gay returned to the wooden house, there was only a pool of blood on the floor. Wang Qi had already disappeared. After seeing the fresh blood and the large amount of clothing in the wooden house, they finally believed Chen Gay. They immediately called for the station's help to send more people to seal the mountain. Chen Gay, as the key witness, was given airtight protection. Initially, the police wanted to send him to the station, but to complete the mission given by the black phone, Chen Gay insisted on staying. He told the police there was more evidence inside Pingan Apartments and insisted on having his statement taken at Pingan Apartments. So, with 4 officers, 2 inside and 2 outside the door protecting him, Chen Gay lay down in bed, waiting for the mission time to pass. The door was pushed open at 3 a.m. A middle-aged officer in his 40s walked in. He removed his police cap and grabbed the bottle off the table to take several big gulps. "Uncle Sanbao, that's mine." Chen Gay sat up in bed when he saw the man. The officer's full name was Li Sanbao, the deputy head of Western Zhujiang City's police station. Coincidentally, he was also the officer responsible for Chen Gay's parents' disappearance case. At the time, it was this Uncle Sanbao who had helped Chen Gay walk out from his depression. "You cheeky little thing. Haven't I told you to not refer to me as your Uncle Sanbao? It's Superintendent Li or Inspector Li." Li Sanbao put down the water bottle and scolded him with an irrepressible smile on his face. "I'll let it slide this time since you've done a wonderful good deed this time." Chen Gay stood up to ask, "They've caught the man?" "Of course, don't underestimate the people from the investigation team. They have not only captured Wang Qi, but also the other people from the apartment. The only one missing is Zhang Peng." "That's great news. They've even found Wang Qi's fiancé's body. It's being looked over by our forensic expert as we speak. In any case, if you have any questions, you'd better ask them now because I'll need to leave to deal with other things soon." The only reason Inspector Li was there was to give Chen Gay the good news. "Both Zhang Peng and Feng Chunlei are escaped criminals, but what about the other 2? Chen Gay did not hesitate and posed the question on his mind. "The woman is Zhang Peng's wife. At most, she'll be guilty of harboring a fugitive. The landlord, though, is a bit more complicated. He was originally a caretaker but got too greedy and cooperated with the rest to seize the senior's property. However, he did not torture the senior. At least, we couldn't see any obvious wounds on the senior," Inspector Li answered as he put his cap back on. "Why would you ask about that?" Just curious. Chen Gay listened to He-san and flashed an honest smile. Although I hear that aiding the police in capturing fugitives entitles one to some rewards, yes? The banner and badge will be sent to you through mail when the case is closed. Goodbye. Fuck! Wait! The young officer who saw this laughed and said, Inspector Lee is just playing with you. If Wang Chi is confirmed to be the arsonist from 4 years ago, then the reward money that you could get is about 30,000 RMB. However, the reward will be given by the local government's treasury and not the law enforcement. Furthermore, the senior once offered 5,000 RMB as reward for any information relating to his family's death. So, there's really a monetary reward? Chen Gay's lips curved into a smile when money was mentioned. I asked only for fun. Of course, the reason I did this was not for the money. To be able to contribute to the preservation of peace within this wonderful city of ours is the absolute honor. The young officer smiled and did not comment. He went back to his post of guarding the door. Later, after Chen Gay was questioned by the investigation team, the officers volunteered to send him home. However, to complete the mission, Chen Gay gave multiple excuses. He refused to budge from the apartment building. Either he needed to get his stuff from room 408, or he wanted to follow the officer up to the 3rd floor to see the crime scene for himself. In any case, he stayed there until 6 a.m. It was not until the mission completed notice appeared on the black phone that he was willing to leave in the police car. Looking at the scenery that flew past him, Chen Gay did not feel at all tired. He snuck out the black phone quietly and started to look through the mission reward. Player managed to reach the mission location on time, successfully found the party responsible for the murder, and survived until dawn. Trial mission, murder by midnight, successful. A new scenario has been unlocked. Player can manipulate the props inside the set, freely using the interface available on the phone. Trial mission's completion rate more than 90%. Congratulations for unlocking this mission's hidden item, Wang Chi's missing person notice. Wang Chi's missing person notice, 11 malice points. Every day I search for the love that I killed. I killed her again and again, but she always manages to find me. Every morning when I open my eyes, her stuff will appear in bed with me. I've already sealed her inside the wall, but she seemed to have snuck inside my heart. Chapter 26. Boss, you're on TV. Finishing the mission with a completion rate more than 90% will get me an additional reward? When Chen Gay realized he had managed to unlock the hidden item, he was admittedly quite excited, but that excitement soon dissipated when he read the item description. Wang Qi's missing person notice? Is the black phone mistaken or something? This feels more like a curse than a reward. After he finished reading the description, a new question popped up in his mind. Although, what are these malice points? Based on the wording, it seemed to refer to the quantification of Wang Qi's malice. A living human being has no use for something like this, so does it mean that it's not meant to be used by a living individual? Chen Gay turned to look at the shadow trailing behind him and shook his head to loosen the thought from his mind. The police car arrived at New Century Park at around 7 a.m. Chen Gay asked the guard for the spare key to the haunted house. He was so exhausted after such an eventful night. When he reached the staff break room, he felt like his whole skeleton was about to shatter. He pulled out his phone and realized it had already died. The live stream naturally had already ended. He connected it to the charger and switched it on. The pedometer that came with his phone stated that he had ran for upwards of 10,000 steps that night. He was currently at the top of his friend list, and Xiao Wan even liked this particular achievement of his. Looks like I need to find some time to go training. As long as I can run faster than others, everything should be fine. Chen Gay tapped through his phone to look for He-san's number. He sent a message in case his call woke up He-san, who might have been sleeping. However, the young man called less than 3 seconds after the message was sent. My word! Boss, you're still alive? He-san's voice was so loud that Chen Gay felt a headache coming. Did you wish for me to die so badly? Also, be a little bit quieter, or you're going to wake your roommates. Who's sleeping? We were all watching your live stream, and we've been waiting to hear from you. Honestly, Chen Gay was quite touched when he heard this. He was about to ask He-san to thank his friends for the support when he heard He-san say, after the live stream cut off, they all said you're definitely dead and insisted on betting on it. Thank you, boss. You've helped pay for my meals for the rest of the week. So, my life is just worth several meals. Actually, you don't need to share this joy with me, really. Chen Gay was speechless facing this overly honest young man. In any case, boss, thank God you're still alive. I was so afraid to see you end up in our labs. Did you know on our course the lecturer will snap the picture of the victim at his time of death so that we'll have a better idea of what a fresh corpse looks like? That's more than enough information. Chen Gay rubbed his temple and could feel his brain throbbing. One of major reasons I managed to survive is thanks to you, so if there's a chance, I'll also treat you to a meal. After hanging up, Chen Gay clicked open his personal page on the video sharing app and was surprised to discover his follower number had increased by more than 3,000 people. Damn! Even a black screen can get me followers? He turned to look at his private message inbox. It was bursting with messages, but the majority of them were asking, "Host, are you still alive? These people, it seems like they couldn't wait for me to die." When Chen Gay realized the advertisement for his haunted house was still there, and his live stream room and personal account page had not been blocked, he sighed in relief. He tossed the phone to the side, buried his face in the pillow, and stretched lazily in bed. It's time to power down. I believe I deserve a day off. Time for bed. After removing his clothes and closing his eyes, Chen Gay soon fell asleep. The sun rose, announcing the arrival of a new day. Sunlight filtered into the room, gilding the edge of the bed in gold. Bang! The gate of the haunted house was thrown open, and rushed footsteps came up the stairs. A key was pushed into the lock, and the staff break room was rudely pushed open. The bed shook violently like there was an earthquake. Chen Gay was so spooked that he sprung up in bed. Before he could say anything, he saw something wave before his eyes, and then a shrill and excited voice entered his ears. "Boss, you're on television!" 2 seconds later, Chen Gay finally returned to reality. Looking at Xiaowan, who sat beside his pillow, and smelling the fresh scent that drifted from her hair, Chen Gay silently picked up the comforter to cover his exposed upper body before saying, "Slow down. What about me? This is the first time someone I know in real life has been on television. Even though your face has been mosaicked, I could still recognize that it was you easily." Mosaic? Chen Gay still had not caught up to what Shu Wan was saying. "Look." Shu Wan passed her phone to Chen Gay. "This is a snippet of the video I took from the internet. During the Zhujiang morning news segment, there was a last-minute story." Chen Ge clicked play, and the image on the screen showed Pingan Apartments. "Justice always prevails. There has been a recent development to the arson that killed a family of 4 at Pingan Apartments 4 years ago. Thanks to the aid of a kind citizen, law enforcement has managed to detain the real culprit to answer for his crimes." Following that was a simple interview attached with a picture of Chen Gay leaving the scene with a police officer. However, Chen Gay's face was heavily pixelated. There was a caption explaining that because one of the fugitives was still on the run, the identity of the kind citizen temporarily would not be revealed to protect said citizen's safety. "Boss, that person is you, right? The clothes are the same as the ones you were wearing yesterday. Do you mind letting me put on some clothes first?" Chen Gay shook his head slightly. After getting into his clothes, Chen Gay quickly explained everything that had happened at Pingan Apartments last night to Shu Wan. However, he did not reveal the real reason he was there. Instead, he said that he was there to seek new inspiration to add to the haunted house. After listening to his story, Shu Wan's expression had a huge change. "Boss, I'm sure you're tired then. Please take your much-needed rest. Leave the visitors to me." She said that out of kindness, but the moment Chen Gay heard that there were visitors, he felt instantly energized. "How many are there?" "More than yesterday." "Then, what are we waiting for? Help me get up." Chen Gay had Shu Wan go wait at the entrance, and he rushed to the toilet to wash his face. Then, he pulled out the black phone to click open the Murder by Midnight scenario. Murder by Midnight, Scream Factor 1 star. This scenario has been completed. Feel free to go up to the 3rd floor to take a look. Warning: the haunted house is running out of internal space. New scenarios shall not be unlockable until further expansion. Chen Gay initially thought he had to prepare many things, but he realized he had underestimated the black phone. When was the scenario set up? After putting on his shoes, Chen Gay raced up to the third floor and pushed the door open. The world beyond the door had completely changed. The space stuffed with unwanted props had disappeared, and what awaited him was a long corridor that was dripping with an eerie air. The newly unlocked scenario was huge. It took up more than half of the third floor, as well as parts of space from the second floor's Minghun and the first floor's Night of the Living Dead. So there are now 3 floors in total, first and second being the appetizer, and the scariest on the third. How come it became so similar to Pingan Apartments? Chapter 27. New Item. Chen Gay went in to familiarize himself with the new set. The structure and layout were similar to Pingan Apartments. The place was living and breathing anxiety and pain. There were more than 10 traps, and many rooms were connected to each other through hidden doors. Other than that, there were a few nasty hidden gems. This place feels authentic, and it's perfect for an escape-the-room type of game. I'll have the visitors try it out in a minute. Standing there, the memories from last night reappeared in Chen Gay's mind, and he shivered. He had the most authentic of experience. Due to the limitation of time, Chen Gay only took a cursory look around before walking downstairs. After all, the customers were waiting. Before he even reached the front door, Chen Gay could hear Shu Wan. "Please be patient. I'm sure boss is coming. In the meantime, you can give the other attractions at the park a try." "Gal, is your boss really inside the haunted house? We saw his live stream last night. He was being chased by more than 10 people through the woods. Did he really manage to escape such a dreadful situation?" "You're kidding? I was also one of the viewers. The host was trapped inside the apartment by a bunch of crazies, and they were closing in on him. I really find it hard to believe that he would be able to escape a trap like that." "Are you sure we were watching the same live stream? Last night, other than sounds, there was only a black screen. How the hell did all of you manage to come up with so much information? Regardless, we're here to see him. If not his living self, his dead body will suffice." The sound of discussion had gotten so loud that it attracted the attention of Uncle Shu. Looking at the size of the crowd, he was feeling both glad and worried. Since a particular point in time, this haunted house that felt like it was crumbling suddenly became New Century Park's main attraction. Many people would start lining up early in the morning. Normally, that was definitely good news. But whenever he listened to the words that came out of the visitors' lips, his heart crunched with worry. This cannot be allowed to continue. When I see Xiao Chen next, I'll need to have a talk with him. The young man is definitely hard-working, but I must not let him stray down the dark path. The gate swung open, and Chen Gay walked out from the haunted house. "Sorry for making all of you wait. The haunted house is now open. Ticket price is 20 RMB. Children are not allowed." The crowd became silent instantly. A few of his viewers rushed over to his side to bombard him with questions about last night. Chen Gay got his 5 minutes of fame. After that, order returned to the crowd, and they entered the haunted house one after another. After the lesson from the previous time, Chen Gay did not dare put Black Friday on loop. Instead, he shuffled it into a long list of sound effects, allowing it to play at random. Chen Gay helped Xiao Wan with her makeup and had her stalk the people in the Minghun scenario while he stayed at the entrance to sell tickets. The number of visitors is slowly climbing, and the reputation has increased a lot. If this continues, I'll reach the criteria to expand the haunted house in a few days. Chen Ge took out the black phone to see how far he was from the target number of visitors he needed to unlock the expansion, as well as to take a look at the refreshed daily mission. Easy mission. If you want to provide the visitors a scary experience, then first you have to pay notice to the rhythm and tempo of their experience in the haunted house. Setting off the scare too early might cause the visitors to lose their interest, so it is suggested that you install some sound detectors or surveillance cameras in the haunted house to keep track of your visitors' progress. Normal mission. The key to a good scare is the element of surprise. For example, put up the scary source opposite from the spot that normally captures the visitor's eyes. Inspect the haunted house to see whether all the props fit this criterion. Nightmare mission. There are weird sounds coming from the bathroom every midnight. If you want to know why, follow my directions. Daily missions will refresh every day at midnight. User can only apply for one mission each day, and the reward corresponds to the difficulty of the mission. Beware, the more difficult the mission, the more dangerous it'll be, so please choose carefully. After taking a quick glance at the daily missions, Chen Gay first rejected the nightmare mission. After 2 sleepless nights, what he needed more than anything was rest. Furthermore, he already had 1 mirror monster to deal with. He really did not think he could deal with 2 monsters at the same time. The rewards from nightmare missions are most applicable directly to myself, giving me some kind of skill, but the reward is proportional to the risk, so temporarily that's ruled out. The easy mission requires a certain amount of money, at least until the monetary reward from capturing Wang Qi arrives. Completing that sounds impossible. Chen Gay considered the options and came to the conclusion that the normal mission was the one best available. Setting up the scares opposite from the focal point. This is not such a bad idea. Applying it into my haunted house will definitely bring more surprises to the visitors. After accepting the normal mission, Chen Gay leaned against the entrance as he kept up the channel of communication with Shu Wan. Noon arrived soon after, and the crowd gradually dissipated. Chen Gay called for Shu Wan to come out and told her to go for her lunch break as he went back to the Ming Hun set alone. He had personally designed this scenario and had put much thought into each scare. Since he had accepted the normal mission, he spent the whole afternoon while Shu Wan was away on updating and improving the set. Normally, when the visitors entered the haunted house, they would be mentally prepared, so it would not be easy to scare them then. Therefore, he needed something to distract their attention to make them think that something was about to jump out at them from that direction. While their attention was fully occupied by the fake scare, the real scare would assault them from a completely unexpected direction. This normal mission was far easier than Chen Gay expected. In just a few hours, he received the alert on the black phone that he had finished the mission. You've completed the normal mission. There is more than one way to scare a person. The element of surprise is the key to a good scare. Congratulations, you have gained the mission reward, Dr. Skullcracker's uniform. Dr. Skullcracker's uniform, item attire. Clark has worked at the mental hospital for over 20 years. Constant exposure to mental patients slowly distorted his view on life. One day, he decided to end everything once and for all. He believed the source of madness had seeped into his patients' brains, so the only solution was to crack their skulls open to remove the source directly, all in the name of saving his patients. After Black Friday, Chen Gay had received another item. He clicked on the app, and the black phone told him the item had been placed inside the props room. The timing is just perfect. If I combine this with the murder by midnight scenario, it should create a wonderful arrangement. Several ideas cropped up in Chen Gay's mind. He grabbed a pen and paper to write them down when his phone rang. "He-san?" Chen Gay answered the call. "What's up?" "Boss, do you still remember what I told you last time?" He-san kept his voice lowered, as if afraid that someone might hear him. "About how the seniors in our faculty have formed a warring party to take revenge for Senior Gao Rushui after you scared her to her tears last time. They're already on their way. Boss, you'd better be prepared." Chapter 28. Different from what you told us. They're coming right now? Chen Gay actually did not mind He-san's seniors at all. "I'm risking my life by giving you this information. The seniors are planning to shoot a funny video inside your haunted house and put it on the internet to make Senior Gao laugh. I hope you won't be angry. After all, our course only has 5 classes and, in total, only 7 girls. The one you made cried was the prettiest of them all, so boss, take care." He-san heard coming footsteps, so he quickly hung up. "Want to shoot a funny video at my haunted house?" Chen Gay put his phone away, and a wicked grin appeared on his face. "They say medical students have bigger guts than most. They'll be the perfect guinea pigs to try out my new scenario, and we'll see who's laughing then." After lunch break, Chen Gay went downstairs to open the gate. The visitors who missed the chance to visit the haunted house in the morning all rushed over. Some of them purposely came to pay the place a visit after watching Chen Gay's videos and live stream online. Some of them were dragged there by families or friends, while the rest were merely curious. Since the line for this attraction was so long, it had to be for something fun, right? Ticket price is 20 RMB. For the best effect, we suggest going in with a group of 3. Chen Gay maintained the order as he communicated with Shu Wan. Both of them were busy beyond belief. Time flew, and when it was 3 p.m., 7 fashionable youths entered the New Century Park. They made a beeline for the haunted house like they were on a mission. Each of them had different personality, and they did not talk much among themselves. They stood in the line for the haunted house quietly, making the atmosphere become weirdly serious. Several minutes later, when the earlier group of visitors came out holding each other for support, the tallest among them walked toward Chen Gay. "Boss, 6 tickets." His voice was deep and gravelly. Chen Gay raised his head to look at the young man and glanced at the group behind him. "But there are 7 of you." "This one is just responsible for bringing us here." The tall youth yanked He-san to the front. "Boss, I won't be going in." He-san was traumatized by his earlier experience in the haunted house. After smiling at Chen Gay, he hurriedly squirreled back to the crowd. "Since you're already here, how can I leave you all alone standing outside? Here, this is on the house." Chen Gay passed the tall youth 7 tickets. "All of you are from Zhejiang Medical University, right? Nice to make your acquaintance." Chen Gay's kindness and enthusiasm made the few medical students feel rather embarrassed. "He-san, since the boss has gifted you the ticket, it'll be wrong if you refuse his kindness." The tall youth passed everyone their ticket. But what they did next confused the other visitors. They did not enter the haunted house directly, and seemed to congregate outside it for some kind of tactical meeting. "He-san and myself will be a group. Monkey and Lao Zhao will be a group. Lao Song, Xiao Hui, and Shi Ling, you 3 will be the last group. Everyone has memorized the tactics that were posted on the forum before we departed, right?" "Yes, it's all memorized. The layout of the set has been drawn out by He-san already, and we're familiar with every trick the place has to offer. Be prepared and show no trace of fear. We mustn't bring shame to Zhejiang Medical University." "Understood. All right, from now on, put yourself into the correct mental state and bring that adrenaline up. Increase the breathing rate. Imagine that you're going skydiving or bungee jumping and make your every cell come alive. Indeed, be fierce, be tough. You're fiercer than the fiercest of ghosts. You're not afraid of anything. Do you still remember the oath we made when we joined the university? A straight heart leads a right path. Zhejiang Medical University, speaker of the living and the dead." "All right, let's go." The speech was so inspiring that even the other visitors could not help but clap and cheer. Even Chen Gay was internally impressed. He-san and the tall youth departed from the group and said, "The 2 of us will lead the way. Wait for our good news." The 2 stepped toward Chen Gay with fire and spirit. "Just the 2 of you? Your rules only allow a maximum of 3 people in one group, don't they?" "Oh, that's the rule for the Minghun scenario. Don't mind that little detail. All 7 of you can come in all at once. I wouldn't want the rest of you to waste your time waiting for others." Chen Gay led the group into the haunted house that felt like it was colder than the temperature outside. "First, all of you need to sign the disclaimer agreement on the table, waiving away your right to sue the haunted house for any and all injuries, supposed or otherwise, before I can allow you to continue." "Wait, this wasn't here last time." He-san wandered over to the table. "That's because you were my first customer to faint inside the attraction." Chen Gay smiled kindly at the group of students. "I believe He-san will have already briefed all of you on the history of this place, so I won't go into the details. All I want to give you is just a reminder and warning." Chen Gay slowly pulled his smile away. He pulled out his phone to search for the morning news. The case at Pingan Apartments 4 years ago was finally solved, but there is still a killer on the loose. Of course, this has nothing to do with us, but when I came to work this morning, the door of the haunted house was left open like someone had wandered in. Pingan Apartments and New Century Park are both on the western side of town. Hopefully, it's just me overthinking. In a few words, Chen Gay managed to plant the seed of doubt. He did not need to convince He-san's group that was the truth. He merely needed to implant the suggestion in their mind. After all, one's imagination could always conjure up things that were scarier than reality. After signing the agreement, Chen Gay led them up to the 3rd floor and slowly pushed the door to the murder by midnight scenario open. A cold draft picked up from somewhere. Along the dark corridors, it felt like eyes were peeping at them from the half-open doors. The corridor led down to an endless staircase and maze-like turns and corners. The ceiling was charred, and everywhere they turned, they could see scratches, like someone had desperately tried clawing their way out. The fire of the group was half stifled the moment they saw this. Every single one of them froze on the spot, and they turned to look at Hisan in unison. "Where's the Siheyuan?" "This is different from what you told us." "I was training with weights the whole night to lift the coffin lid." The eyes on Hisan almost made him cry. The honest young man could only turn to Chen Gay for help, but the latter ignored him. The theme of this scenario is called Murder by Midnight. Please do not take any pictures, and violators will be personally responsible for the possible consequences. The exit is hidden within the set, and the time limit is 20 minutes. If you wish to surrender, just yell at the camera, and I will come get you. After all of them entered the corridor, Chen Gay smiled at them and said in parting, "Enjoy."